Yo, yo, it's time to discover the flow. Shout out to the bros. You know, I like to welcome everybody to discover the flow. No matter how you discover the show or discover the bros, now you about to see how far we can go, because it's time for discover the flow. Yeah, cowabunga do. You know live is how we come to you. Turn the levels up when you hear the boys coming through. The Pod Squad giving you just what you need, hitting you with a new special guest every week. Don't you dare hit skip, man, it's Tristan and Kip. DTF Pod about to take you on a trip. Mega Ran bring the heat, yeah. But be clear, I wasn't even supposed to be here. Welcome to Discover the Flow. No matter how you discovered the show or discovered the bros, now you about to see how far we can go, because it's time for Discover the Flow. Let's start the show.
Well, I already know I'm pretty fucking special. It has nothing to do with that, but yeah.
You're already answering questions for later, like what's your favorite curse word? So we'll save that. Save that.
Motherfucker. That's my favorite one. That motherfucker.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Remember that, because we're gonna ask that again later. But
yeah. I even
Jackson,
even being a spiritual person, I call people a piece of shit all the time. And they go, how can you say that? You're spiritual. And I say, they're a piece of shit because they choose to be a piece of shit. They could choose to be different, but they don't.
there was a comedian that was talking about how in the Bible it doesn't say you can't use curse words. And somebody says fuck. And he goes, hey, you can't say that. He goes, show me in the Bible where it says I can't. Oh, that's where. No fucking where.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, as I explained to everybody, God gave us the ability to make sound. He did not create words. So you can say any word you want to that begins with the letter F that doesn't sound like fire truck, and he doesn't give a shit, because humans created words. God didn't create words, because the way that they communicate is telepathy, and it's all pure thought. So most of the words that are even in pure thought don't even translate in regular words. But besides that, are you guys big believers of the Bible? Because that book's a piece of shit.
No, not at all.
No, that book is.
My thoughts about that, and very explicitly, I'll just tell you, none of us have ever read the real Bible.
No one has.
Because not anyone alive, at least.
We wanted to.
The diluted version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been rewritten and translated and omitted to and omitted from and added to, and no.
Yeah, King James didn't like it so much he wrote his own,
Yeah,
right.
And then they picked and chose what they wanted in it. The rest of it they threw in the garbage.
Even people today who
just a mess.
Yeah, the religious people today, they don't live entirely by the Bible. The Bible has a lot of rape and murder in it, so that they don't live their lives by that. They just pick and choose everything that suits them. No,
I'm not really a believer myself, but I respect everybody's religions and beliefs, as long as they're causing harm to nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that whole Bible thing, it's okay to kill in God's name. No.
Yeah.
The Bible is just it's always them trying to tell you 10 stories, just trying to prove one point. It's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. He's a fearful God, yet he's a merciful God. Well, which one is he? Neither. He's a loving God.
I always laugh when people ignorantly think that all Muslims are killing in the name of God.
No.
If you're a true Muslim, I know for a fact that you preach nothing but peace and love.
Assalamu alaikum.
So Mr. Jackson, do me a favor. Explain to people who you are and what your ability is.
Man, that's a tough one to do, because my ability isn't just one thing. I'm a spirit medium. I don't call myself psychic, because when you say psychic, people start asking you, hey, what's my favorite color? And I say, I don't know what your favorite color is, but everyone else thinks you're an asshole for asking that stupid question. But I don't ever not see spirit, so it doesn't turn off for me. It doesn't go away. Even just as before I was walking in this room, I was in my bedroom. I had my eyes closed, and I was seeing a bunch of, I can't even describe to you what they look like, because it's indescribable. but I don't ever not see them in any form or in any time. I see them with my eyes open. I see them with my eyes closed. And I'm not just talking about how the ghost hunters who see one or two of them inside of a building. I see thousands of them at a time. I see sometimes hundreds of thousands of them at a time because I'm able to see in these two different spiritual realms because there's only two. You either walk into heaven or you stay here as an earthbound spirit, or more commonly known as the low energy realm. And when I see into the low energy realm, I see gazillions of them just standing around interacting with each other, or they're just walking around and walking to nowhere. When I see that, a lot of times I see what I call the parade. And it looks like, because I can see them from like 100 miles away, and they're all just walking, and they're just, here they come. And it's like as if I'm standing on a balcony and I'm looking down and I see them and they're all walking past me like in a parade. But I know the reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to stay together, to stay away from all the negative energies that are there. And there are very, very bad negative energies. And when I see those negative energies, I see them doing things that you would only see in the worst horror movie you've ever seen, except you as a regular person are not going to see this worst horror movie. Because why? Because they wouldn't be able to show this in a movie or on TV because it's that bad. But for me, I can't turn it off. It turns off when it wants to turn off. So the type of things that you would see in there are just unimaginable. You don't want to see them. You don't. People have a fascination about this. Oh, I want to see this. I want to see that. I'm telling you, you don't want to see this because it would probably drive you crazy. And for me, again, it just doesn't turn off. But that's not all that I see. I see all kinds of things happening around me. And that's another thing too. People don't realize what's taking place around them at all times. It doesn't turn off and go away. If you knew exactly what was taking place around you at all times, you'd go into a closet and hide, but you wouldn't be able to hide from anything because they're still around you. They don't take bathroom breaks. They're not like you're in the bathroom going, but they're not taking a break. Always in the bathroom. They don't have to do anything you don't want them to do. They don't have to do anything. There's no such thing as house clearing. You can't clear a house. These are beings that are in another realm. They don't have a physical body. So you putting out some sage and cedar, you burning that. Why would you think that physical smoke is going to now transpose into a non-physical realm? They don't have a body. They don't smell. They don't sleep. They don't eat. They don't breathe. None of that. So the only thing that you're doing is when you're lighting that stuff on fire is you're setting off your fire alarms. That's all you're doing. They're not affected by it. You can say all the words that you want to make them go away. They're not going to go away. They don't have to go away. People are so, unfortunately, spiritually dumb. They think, oh, if I put up a cross, I can make these negative energies go away. Well, the cross is a form.
Would it be dumb, or would it just be a lack of knowledge or ignorance, for a better term?
Because it's a combination of both, because they think somebody, like I said, you can put a cross up, but the cross is a form of punishment. So how are you going to make something negative go away with a form of punishment? The cross is not a representation of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is a representation of Jesus Christ. That's how the Bible, again, has rape and murder in it and all that stuff. Do you think that's going to make negative energies go away? No, it's not. People think these physical items are going to make anything go away. It's not. You can't make them go away. They are around you all the time. They're not going anywhere. There's nowhere for them to go. They are in this vast place that you can't affect.
With all this going on inside your head, it sounds like you're constantly living on the 50-yard line of the Super Bowl while everybody's chatting. Like you say,
oh yeah, I don't ever not
go crazy if they saw this.
Yeah, they talk to me all the.
How do you?
They talk. Oh, I just watch it.
What do you mean?
I realize. Yeah, I realize where they are and what they are doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. I don't allow it to affect me, but that's only because of the reason of that I'm protected all the time. Because one of the things that I do is I do cross the spirit over into the light, and in order to do that, I have to be protected by all the negative energies so that I can do that. I'm protected, but that doesn't mean everyone else is protected. Most, not 99.9% of the people in this world aren't. They're not going to
Well,
be because they're here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose. But I interact with them all the time. I don't just see them. I hear them. I feel them. They touch me, pinch me, poke me. They say things to me all the time. You'd be surprised what they talk about. And so I'm here to interact with them to try to get them to cross over. But because I have to, in order to do that, and in order to get the connection that I do have to talk to my guides in order to get answers, because a lot of times they ask me questions in order to get them to cross over. I have to get answers for them, and I communicate with what we refer to as archangels. They are not men with wings and shields and swords by any means. I see them as themselves as well. As they're not, just people standing there with a shield and a sword. That's completely ridiculous. But I have to get answers for them. But
if our normal, because that would be like a pop culture interpretation of what an archangel would look like.
yes,
You say
yes.
that's not what they look like. What do they look like?
When I see archangels around me, I see 8-foot praying mantises standing around me. I see some that look like birds and some that look like reptiles and some that look like other beings. Some are humanoid and some are just not. And some of them I just can't describe to you because there's nothing to describe it to. But they're just beings of a higher consciousness that no longer need a body, that are trying to help us. But I'm also not saying that you have a guardian angel following you around. Nobody does. That's another huge myth. I mean, if you had a guardian angel following you around, guarding you from everything in your life, what would you learn? Nothing. There's so many myths out there but these are the things that people just want you to believe. Like I said, the spirit. Oh, well, he's going to the bathroom. I'll take a break from him now, so I won't bother him. That's a bunch of lies. They're just there. They are watching what you do. When you wake up in the morning and you do your daily routine, you shit, shower, and shave, and then you get ready for work, and then you eat some breakfast, and then you go to your job and do your job, and then maybe you don't do your job because some people are lazy, and then you come home and you eat some dinner and watch some TV, and then go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. They're around you 24/7. They watch what we do, but they don't really care what we do all the time because they don't have to do it anymore. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't breathe, they don't drive cars. They're not paying insurance, and they're not paying bills and arguing with a bunch of people, except for the ones in the lower realm. They are arguing with each other all the time. But they don't have to do what we do. So they don't really care what we are doing. They're not sitting around going, oh, what's this guy doing today? Because it's not that important to them, because they did it before. They don't have to do it now. So why bother with it? Unless they want to bug the shit out of you. And that's different.
So how did you find
spirit would be like?
How did you find yourself with this ability? How did you figure out that you could do this? Like, when did this happen?
I've seen spirit ever since I was 3 years old. My mom and dad, my two brothers and my sister. I grew up in New Jersey and South Jersey, right across the river from Philadelphia. So we lived right on the river there in this little town. And in that town, there was a battlefield there where the Hessians fought. And there was a little hospital there. So a lot of people in that area were experiencing some spiritual type things. And my sister and I was getting ready for school one morning, and my mom was helping her. And they went into the bathroom. I was there, and I was talking to my mom. And then they went to stand in front of the door. It had a full length mirror on it. And when they did, there was another woman standing in the mirror. She had on a colonial outfit. There was one time when my two brothers and I were downstairs watching TV. And my sister's bedroom was 2 flights up because it's like down in the basement. And her record player turned on. But this is back in the 70s when you had a record, you had to put it on a post, and then you flip the switch and dropped it down. It was switching records. So it was taking records off and putting other records on.
It was amazed by the technology based on the way you said it was dressed in the mirror.
And apparently it liked Pink Floyd and Doobie Brothers and Alice Cooper, because it was playing records from those all the time.
Why whenever somebody sees an apparition or something like that, are they always dressed in like old colonial clothes? Like How come there's never any modern spirits or ghosts that are dressed like you and me?
And you would also ask the question, but no one ever asks the question: why are they dressed at all? Because they have.
I can't fight that one, really.
Yeah, because this is what they were comfortable in. They are now pure energy. They can manipulate themselves to look like anything they want to. Even the real bad ones. I'll see a real bad one that may have been just a regular person, and then when he tries to say things to me to induce fear inside of me, because that's what they want to do, because they need to draw negative energy off of things in order to continue going where they are. And if they can impose fear on you, then that's what they want to do. And if he can't get it through to me in that type of way, then he manipulates himself and makes himself look like a demon or a devil. In other words, there's no such thing as demons and devils. They just want to make you scared. So since they can do that, why not try that? They'll try anything.
If there's no such thing as demons and devils, does that mean there's no such thing as angels?
Again, the angels are not what you think they are. We call them angels. They're just beings of a higher consciousness. That's all they are. I say
the next level like up from our existence or something.
Correct. Yeah. When I say that I communicate with archangels, that makes it easier for people to understand who I'm communicating with. But again, they're not men with wings and shields and swords. They're just
so they're not necessarily inherently good or evil. They're just there. It's different ones are good, ones are evil.
Well, the ones that I communicate are good ones. Okay. And then you have other spirit that are just bad ones. And then you have some that are just kind of like in between, as I tell people, again, there's no such thing as a rainbow bridge. Not everything crosses over into the light, okay? And in that light realm is where everything is wonderful and good and joyous and all that. Where in this other lower realm, I see dogs and cats walking around. I see deer walking around grazing. Now, why would they be grazing? Because that's what they were doing before they died, but they don't always know that they died, because when you step up out of your body, you're still you. So you're still going to do the same things that you feel you could do before, because you don't notice any different.
So each life, because you said that we all live multiple lives, each life.
Oh, yeah.
Are we just moving on to a different plane of existence?
No, you're coming.
Repeating where we're at, or
you come back here. You just come back here over and over and over again. The reason you're here now because, well, we all created from the same place. We all come from God, from a part of Him that makes our soul a divine soul. Everyone's a divine soul, but you also have free will. But as we should all know, free will is not free. It'll eventually cost you at some point in your life. But we are sent here to do a couple things.
You were saying, like when you die, sometimes people don't, or animals don't know that they're dead.
Correct.
And that they're just on a different plane of existence now.
Correct. Yeah, some people don't even know they're dead either. They ask me all the time, "Am I dead?" Yes, you are.
What's the deciding factor on whether you end up on a different plane of existence or coming back?
Choice for being where you go into heaven, or if you remain here as an earthbound spirit. But again, some of them are just lost as well. They just don't know where to go. But having to come back, you get a little bit of the choice of that, but most of the time it's no, you don't get a choice for that. The reason you come back is because we hear about these things. Oh, you're here learning lessons. Well, yeah, that's important, but that's not the reason why you come back. The reason why you come back is because you have not fulfilled your purpose. Your purpose is not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. You can fulfill your purpose while being those, but you're going to fulfill your purpose while being human. And the purpose is we are here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should. In a way, it's a physical way where you're helping someone or something to do something it can physically not do for itself, or you're helping it to figure it out. Just like if you drive down the street and you see a dog in the middle of the road and you just say, "Oh, I'm going to go get that dog and get it out of the street because I want to find its owner or help that dog, or do something for that dog." Or you're one of those people who says, "I ain't got time for that dog. I'm late for work." Well, if you're late for work, get up earlier. It's pretty simple. But yeah, it's about helping in this world, and that's what gets you home, to get you a golden ticket to go home and stay home. If you don't get that done, that's why you keep coming back over and over and over again. You do it throughout your lives, but you don't do it as much as God would like you to do it. Why? Because we always say life gets in the way. But every time you're in these places and you're about to do that, and then you go, man, you talk yourself out. But basically, what you're doing is you're telling God, I ain't got time for you today, God. And why would you do that?
So, I mean, that all sounds fine and dandy for people, and but you
It's about
see
learning.
animals, but you see animals and stuff as well, right? And your
Yeah,
job is basically to help the spirits and the lives cross over.
yeah,
I can understand how you could help a person, but how do you help an animal, for lack of just a wide description?
because they talk to me. That's why, and I hear it as English. A soul is a soul is a
Interesting.
soul. Yeah, they're just
But, I mean,
like
why do you
a
think you
couple,
hear it in English as opposed to something else? Because I mean, that's English language is just a man-made construct. You know what I mean?
because it's the language that I know. So that's
So it's
why I
like
hear
watching
it.
a movie and you know that they're speaking Russian, but you understand it in English because that's the way
Correct.
they're doing it. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, but like I said, even if a dog talks to me, like about 2 months ago, I also do something called remote viewing, but I don't have any control over it. It just turns on for me. But again, in order to have the connection that I do, I have to be open to everything. So open meaning I'm able to see all spirit everywhere. But I'm also a remote view. It just turns on, but I have some strange stories with that as well. So I had a couple of months ago. I thought I was remote viewing because again, I just never know which way it is until I start asking them questions, and archangels touch me for yes and no answers, as well as put information into my mind. And in the beginning,
Real quick, I
sure.
I want to stay on the track that you're on, but real quick sidetrack. What exactly is remote viewing? Is it like a state of meditation, or
No, you're
what is that?
seeing somewhere else. Like you're seeing somewhere else in the world, or somewhere else.
But are you like closing your eyes and focusing, or is it just right there,
Uh,
even though you're
Yeah,
conscious with your eyes open?
some people can close their eyes and then focus in and go to that place. For me, it just turns on. I close my eyes and it's right there.
Okay, but it's
So
to you, it could be any place.
yes, for me, it ends up being any place. But a lot of times, but there's other. I also remote view through someone else as well. So there's this particular guy that I keep remote viewing through his eyes all the time. Just a couple of days ago, he was watching Beavis and Butthead on MTV, and I was there. I'm looking through
And this
his
is the person who's
eyes.
alive.
Yes, yeah, but this guy works for the government because he views me all the time, but he's using technology to do that.
Okay, I'm not making fun of you when I describe it this way, so hopefully
No,
you
go ahead.
understand it. When you say that, it makes me think of like Cerebro from the X-Men, where the mind reader character
Correct,
Professor X puts on a helmet and he can
correct,
now read the minds of any of the mutants anywhere in the world. You're saying
correct.
that he has a technology like that?
Yeah, they were using but he was looking for a screen. So at the same
So
time that
almost like
was
a
going on.
VR headset.
Yeah, but he was looking at an actual like a computer screen because I could see him on the other side of this screen, as well as I saw someone else walk into the room, and then I acknowledged that other person walking into the room, and that guy got freaked out that I could see him, and then he backed out of the way.
Hmm.
This is the government. They watch me. They watch others too. If you don't think you're not being watched, you might want to think again.
That's interesting to me. Do you mind if I ask what exactly your religious beliefs are?
I'm spiritual.
When you say spiritual, can you give like a little bit of a better elaboration?
Sure, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, but I also believe there are also other beings everywhere. Because if people think we are the only beings and just this world has intelligence, you better think again. UFOs are not visiting us. They've never left.
If they've never left, does that mean that they are us?
Where do you think we came from? We didn't come from Adam and Eve or Adam and Steve, whichever you prefer. We came from them. We were planted here a long
I mean,
time ago.
that's something I can fully 100% get behind and support, because
hundreds of
life
thousands
most
of years
likely
ago.
came to this planet on
Yes.
asteroids. If
No.
you're going the scientific route, you
No,
know?
the scientific route is bullshit. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just guesstimating. They have no idea. I mean, really? I mean, the whole theory of UFOs, the reason they don't want to admit to UFOs is because if they do, if they admit to all that stuff, then they are also admitting that they don't have any control of what's going up in our skies. And if they admit that they don't have any control of what's going on up in our skies, then they know that they don't actually have any power over us, and we would know that too. And then we wouldn't need them anymore, would we?
What do you think about the idea that the UAPs, or the UFOs, as they used to call them, aren't even manned by or piloted by anybody? What if they're just drones, even if they aren't from this world?
Just drones? No. They're checking on us.
What do you? I mean, they could check on us, you know, through video or whatever they would have. You know what I mean?
Possibly,
Wouldn't
but
it be
it's not,
more believable that it's either drones? You know, because to me, I mean, the only other there's aliens, there's
well,
drones,
10 years,
and
10 years
there's
ago, it wasn't considered
us
drones.
from
But
the
now,
future coming back watching us. You know?
yeah, no, it's not that. no, it's and 10 years ago you just thought it was just UFOs and just aliens, but now there's this whole drone craze has come in. Now they have everybody convinced it's just drones. No, it's not.
So you don't think that there's a possibility it could be that, even if it's not from this world?
Oh, well, there's probably somebody sending something like that, but is every one of those, all those, just drones? No, it's not.
So
This don't let them fool you into that.
You at one point said, and if I'm getting the wording wrong, I apologize, your spirit or your soul has been here since the beginning.
Mine has, yeah.
Are we talking about existence as a whole, or just Earth, or what? Like
For me,
like man?
For me, just here existence on this world.
Okay.
So you want me to explain that?
Absolutely.
If you can, that'd be great.
Okay, so the way that it works for you and the way it works for everyone else is you will die, because everybody does. 130,000 people die every day. You're just waiting your frickin' turn. That's all you're doing. When it's your time to go, it just is. Not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. The way that it's going to happen for you is you're going to stand up out of your body, because you're going to die, and you're going to look down and go, oh, I guess I don't need that anymore. Yeah, and you're going to take a step to the left, you're going to look to the right, and a light is going to turn on for you. That is what you would call the light into heaven. It is a portal for you to either go home or not. If you are here now, what do you have in common with the other 7.5 billion people on the face of this earth? They've all been to heaven. They all had to come back, just like you. So in other words, you've been home to heaven a bunch of times. You had to come back over and over and over again to get this purpose fulfilled. But you could also not walk in, and then you could remain here as one of these earthbound spirits that are just walking around. Because if you think, these ghost hunters go out and go, oh, I'm seeing this and it's just, they think they're just seeing people. They're not. They're not. It's just not people. It's dogs, cats. I see everything. I see dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish, other beings from other worlds. I see everything. And everything I see isn't very nice. Okay. So you're going to stand up out of your body. You're going to see that light turn on for you, because everybody gets a personal light. And you're going to either do one of two things. You're going to walk in or you're not. It's that simple. And it may be a reason, because
if they have those choices, how do they end up with you?
Because I'm the light.
Oh, so crossing over into the light isn't choosing to go to heaven, it's choosing to for lack of a better term, go to purgatory instead of back to earth?
No, there's no such thing as purgatory. Going into the light is going to heaven.
When I say purgatory, I mean like you're like a waiting area because you have to help these souls, right?
I'm the light that shines, that shows them how to get there. They go through the light, and that will bring them home to heaven. Now, there is a waiting area, but it's not about just being there. That's it. When you go
It's
home
not the
into
DMV on a Saturday.
no, man, especially
That's what it sounds like.
yeah. Well, I'm from Jersey. You don't want to be in that kind of DMV, that's for sure. But
hell no.
there's a purpose to it. You go there because when you get there, this is where the decision will be made on whether or not you have to come back again. What they will do there is they will go over your life with you. They will let you know what you did and did not do. And if it's more about what you did not do because you chose to use your free will, more about you and then what you're supposed to use it for, then that's another reason why. Or you're just one of those people who walks around and goes, I hate freaking people, and then I'm going to do anything, or I'm not going to help anybody. So you'll go there, and then they will let you know if you have to come back again. If you do have to come back again, you will stay in that area until it is time to come home. You will not go completely right into heaven. Now, the waiting period for that is
when you
there's
say
a wait.
they.
What's
when you
that?
say they are helping you. They are reviewing your life. Who
Angels.
exactly are they?
Angels, but not
Okay.
not archangels. These are what archangels call lesser angels. You have a hierarchy. You have God, archangels, what archangels call lesser angels because they just have less responsibility than archangels do. Because archangels, again, they're just doing bigger picture things. And then these lesser angels will let you know what's going on and why you are here in the first place, and then what you did and didn't do. And this is what now that we know that you did more of what you weren't supposed to do, we're going to send you back again. But you being there, no longer have pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that other crap that you learned how to have here. And you are a beautiful, bright, white, loving soul who likes to do good things. And you'll go, okay, I'll go back again, no problem. And they'll say, good, because we need you to do this and do that and do that so you can go home and stay home. So, but if you did complete it, then you just get to walk on through and you go home to heaven, and heaven's not what you think it is. I say it all the time. Yeah, so, but the completion part of that is if you die under the age of 30 years old, you would, and if you have to return, you come back 8 years later. If you die over the age of 30 years old, you would come back 80 years later. And the reason for all of that is so you're not recognized. It's that freaking simple. God made a lot of things that are very simple. People make it complicated because they just don't get it. That's what my job is here to do, is to make them understand it so they can let go of being afraid to die. You've died a shitload of times. It just happens like this. Ready? You're here, you're gone. That quick. That's it. It's the body that's painful.
We briefly talked about that before, and you had told me that I had lived X amount of lives in
28
certain ways. And
so you know what that means with big having 28 lifetimes or on number 28? You've had 27 other moms and dads, 27 other brothers and sisters, 27 other dogs and cats, and 27 other astrological signs that mean absolutely horseshit because it means nothing. Because this is astrology. A bunch of people standing around looking up at the stars going, hey, if I play connect the dots, it makes a fish. No, it doesn't. That's what we associate to. It has nothing to do with you and why you are here. Everybody here is why you are here, is what has to do with you and how we interact with each other and how we try to work this out. Because we all live on the same planet. No one's going anywhere anytime soon, so we better start to get along with each other before we annihilate each other. He wants us to learn. We're not learning very well. And that's why we keep coming back, because we don't get it right. It's pretty simple.
So what about before the dawn of man, for lack of a better term? Was this just all done strictly with animals, with the dinosaurs before that?
Yeah, just the intent of learning life.
So somewhere at some point in time, there was a version of you that was a dinosaur helping others,
Yes,
or maybe a dog or something.
yes, but not for the reason of that you think it is. So, in other words, I'm
I'm not
here.
even sure what I think it is. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I was here. So again, so you walk into the light or you don't. Now, you will die. Both you guys will die. Kip, you'll just die. Because
Spoiler alert.
you're gonna die. So we eat all the fucking pizza that you want to. That's not what's gonna kill you. There's only one thing that's
Oh,
gonna
he
kill you.
does.
Yeah, only one thing will kill you: death. Because when it's your time to go, it just is. Okay, that doesn't make a difference if you.
Don't tell me if you can, or if you know. Don't tell me. Do you know how people are going to die?
I'm going to die when I'm 83 years old. My birthday's in November. I'm going to die in August on the third week on a Wednesday night, August 19th of 2049. I'm just going to go to sleep and then that's it. I have 25 more years left. Oh, because I asked God. He told me. Why do you think they fucking? Why do you think they watch me?
I don't want you to.
Why do you think they watch me all the time?
It'll take the flavor out of the remaining years. You could tell either one of us how we would die.
How you die is not important.
Something you can do.
Yes, I can, but it's not important. You're just going to die. You just are. Yeah,
But if I wanted to know, you could tell me.
I can.
I don't want to know that, but
you'd have to ask. I have to have permission to tell you. You have to ask.
I don't think that's something that I would ever want to know.
Yeah,
is how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it would take the flavor of the remaining years.
But again, the process of it happening is just going to be. It's going to be a moment, and then you're gone. So what does it really matter? By the time you do pass away and you stand up out of your body, you're going to know what you died of, and you're going to go, wasn't anything. You're going to know that dying was a transition from here to that. And when you do step up out of your body, you're going to do this. It's going to be like, because all the weight of everything that's on you right now, and it is a weight, will be gone. And you'll be happy.
When we spoke before, you told me I had lived 28 lives, which you repeated
Correct.
Here as well. What can you tell me about those lives, if anything?
The most important part is, especially when people get into this past life regression stuff, those lives were important when you were living them. They are not important now. If those, even up to your last life to this one, if it was so important, you would have finished what you were supposed to do, and you wouldn't be here right now. You'd be in heaven. So, in other words, it's just not important. It's a significance of you learn. It's not important to you. You just don't understand that. You want it to make some importance of why. Oh, maybe here's the thing. People want to know about their past lives because they want to know about the bullet points. What part of your life right now is bullet points?
I mean, depending on perspective, people could make up an entire story out of their bullet points.
Right. They want to make up a story, because they only want to think about the great parts. How many times out of your life have you brushed your teeth? Was that important? How many times have you taken a crap? Was that important? How many times have you read a book? Was that important? How many steps did you walk around the mall? Was that important? How come no one wants to talk about those parts of their previous lifetimes? They only want the cool parts of their life. Maybe here's the other big cool one. Maybe I was related to a king or a queen or something like that. And then I tell them, oh, do you think stepping on the backs of other people and raping and murdering and killing them and taking all their money is fucking noble? Because I don't find it very fucking noble. People want to make up things because they want to feel important. You are important because you are here. And you are meant to do important things. And then when you look at those other things that you think are important, they more or less turn out to be your stories that you have for your ego. And ego has no place of why you're supposed to be here. We want to feel like I could, oh, let me tell a story about, because I used to be, I lived in Africa and I was this and that and stuff like that. You've been here 28 times. You're from the entire world. You're from all over the place. But the one thing you did do is what you didn't do. You didn't get it right. So why would you want to go back to thinking about how wonderful it was if you didn't get it right?
I mean, for lack of a better term, curiosity killing the cat. You know what I mean?
That curiosity is going to keep you focusing on that and not focusing on what you're supposed to be doing here, which is getting it right so you can go home and stay home. That curiosity is going to kill the cat. It's going to kill your chance to go home and stay home and live life uninterrupted without pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, greed, without suffering. But if you want to keep on doing that bullshit, that's up to you. You want to focus. Let me ask you this. So what do you do for a living, Tristan?
I'm a forklift operator.
Okay. I used to do that. I had actually, I got hurt in a work accident because some guy picked up 2 pallets of frozen chicken. They collapsed and one of them fell on top of me. I went to work on my motorcycle and I left in an ambulance. It was great. It wasn't. So you had to apply for that job, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if you went to that place and you applied to that job and you gave them your resume and you gave them everything. You said, here you go. And they said, well, you know what, for Tristan, this looks really good. Not too shabby. We like what we see here. But we did a Google search on you. And we found out when you were 7 years old that you broke a branch off of a tree and then you stuck it in some dog shit and you ran around chasing other kids going, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. And then they go, we don't like that kind of behavior. We don't want that at our company. You're a rabble rouser. You want to cause problems with people. And we can't have that here. We need people who are going to take care of each other and look out for each other because this is a very dangerous job. It can be a very dangerous job. And we don't want that kind of attitude you have. But then you turn around and tell them, well, why are you going to judge me on that? That's my past. Don't judge me on my past. Judge me on who I am now. Look what I've done now. Look at the accomplishments and the accolades I've done now. I don't make the same decisions I did when I was 7 years old. I don't think the same way as I did when I'm 7 years old. I care about people and I care about their well-being. And then when you say that, they go, oh, okay. You're right. It's more important to see what you're doing now. What you did in the past wasn't important because it wasn't important.
If you're so opposed to telling people about their past lives, like why did you give me the information about how I supposedly died in my most recent one?
Because you need to know that you're still here for a reason. Because there's more importance than just knowing what you did in your previous lives. The more importance is of you getting here because you were given another shot to do this again. And this time he wants you to get it right. He wanted you to get it in all the other ones too, but you just didn't. You ran out of time. I did a reading for a lady. I did a reading for a lady about 5 years ago, and she asked me the same question. She said, Daniel, did I fulfill my purpose yet? And I said, no, you've run out of time. Now, that was my nice way of saying things to her, that you've run out of time. If I told you, Tristan, you ran out of time, maybe this will help you once I give you the answer, what I'm talking about. If I told you that you ran out of time, what would you think that means to you?
I mean, that means I'm probably dying or I'm dead or,
Correct,
simply
because
my time is up.
Correct, because she did. She died 6 months later. So the importance of you being here altogether is to help people just for the sake of helping, to do things that are going to matter in this world, not just to like maybe thousands of people. Maybe it will. but for each and every one of us. But if you're walking around thinking, "Oh, I'm just here to do whatever I want to, and I want to make $1 million, and I want to have 6 cars and 7 houses and 10 boats and all that stuff," like the society wants you to believe in because they want you to continue to pay into the system, then go right ahead. But you'll come back here again. I don't make the rules. I just explain them. Do you want to come back and do this again? Because I know you probably know this lifetime wasn't always easy. Do you want to do that again? Or do you want to go home and be in a beautiful, wonderful place where everything is wonderful and you know everybody? Because when you leave here, people always ask that. When I go home to heaven, and that's if they go home, because not everybody goes. They just think they are. But if you go home to heaven, am I going to see my mom and dad? Well, when you get there, you know everybody because you're related to everybody because you came from that place. You didn't come from here. You come here. That's the most important part. But to get that job done so that you can go home, just like you do the job you do now in order to take care of yourself and take care of your family. Well, this is the most important job you're ever going to have ever because it's going to take care of you to decide where you're going to go next. Do you want to keep coming back again? You want to keep fucking around with a bunch of dumb shit? Or do you want to go home and stay home? But people get stuck on that. Oh, well, what if I was this and what if I was that? Well, maybe you were. Who gives a shit? What you are is what you are now.
I mean, you want to come back as a movie star, you might come back as the next Hitler. You never know. Right.
Well, Hitler's coming back. Where do you think he went? He didn't go what you think he went to. He went to heaven.
He's
a soul. He's a soul. Everything is a soul. But every soul has a choice. He went home.
How could a soul go to heaven, though?
The body was bad.
What are the boundaries?
The body, there is no boundaries. Nobody gets punished. God doesn't punish us. We punish ourselves 1,000 times a day. We judge ourselves 1,000 times a day. Why does he need to judge us once more? He doesn't. He knows that Hitler didn't do what he needed to do. Hitler chose to go back home, so he knows Hitler has to come back again. But Hitler will not be Hitler the next time he comes. Hopefully. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. It's a maybe. He's setting you off to do something, to learn. But he gives you free will. And because he gives you free will, he gives you free will to make your choices that are best for you, or best for you, Kip. But those choices that are best for you are not best for me. I have to be able to make my choices that are best for me. But God is not going to punish you for something he gave you just because you decided to do one thing and I decided to do something else. He's going to but if you are not going to do exactly what he wanted you to do, which was learn and be kind and love each other, he'll just bring you back to try again. It's so that simple.
There's really no consequences for our actions.
There are. There's the other consequence that you could just wake up and go, oh, fuck people, I hate the world, blah, 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 blah. And then you look at heaven and you go, because when you stand up out of your body, you're going to get perfect memories of your lifetime here, plus your other 27 lifetimes. And you're going to know that those lifetimes were hard. You're going to know it. And then you're going to look at that light, and then you may think to yourself, oh, if I go in there, I might have to come back again. And maybe you don't want to. But
this might sound
continues.
Stupid since time is a human construct, but I mean,
correct.
What's the time period of all this happening? If you're reviewing your past lives and trying to decide whether or not you're going to go to that light or go back.
Well, that lady I did the reading for has been here 43 times. What do you think it is?
Is there a limit?
No, there's not a limit. There's no limit until you learn it. Until you get it right. You could be here for a very long time.
How do you feel about like places and things that are haunted? You know, like a haunted house or like the famously possessed Annabelle doll or stuff like that.
It's comical. The spirit are everywhere. Why is it comical? Because spirit are everywhere. And then you build a house in that place where they already were. What's that mean? Does that mean the house is haunted? No. Everywhere is haunted. Some spirit want to be seen. Most don't. But I'll give it to you in this term. So I was in the hospital one time, and I'm laying there in bed, and it was dark in my room. The guy who was in the other curtain, the other side of the curtain, was sleeping, and I saw the spirit of a woman come in, and she comes in and she stares at me because they don't see me like you see me. When spirit even sees you, they see your body frame and they see a light inside of you. That's your soul inside of you. I don't look like that. I'm the light. I look like a figure of a human being, but I'm just pure light. That's it. So she comes in and she's staring at me. And then another one came in. And then they turned around and look at each other. And I said, and one said, "Hey, how are you?" And the other one said, "Good. How about you?" And she said, "Good." She said, "What do you think?" And then they started making out with each other. And then as they were making out, I'm just watching. And then a guy came in. And then the guy came in. Oh, come on. So I like women, but then so then this guy came in. The two girls stopped.
You gotta watch it when you're doing that towards the camera. It got Elon in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's all made up shit anyway. So the guy comes in and Elon, oh gosh, and don't pay attention to these politicians. If you're paying attention to politicians, that's your problem. No one else's.
Would you consider him a politician though?
No, none of them are. They're all criminals. They are all criminals. They have control over us. Tell us what to do all day, and we fucking follow because they tell us to do it.
I can't fight you too much on that one.
Yeah, I don't mess with politics. They're all a bunch of idiots. So this guy comes in. The two girls stop making out, and then one guy and girl start making out, and the other girl's kind of standing there staring at me again. And then another guy came in. The guy and girl stop making out. The two girls go back to making out, and the two guys go to making out. And then all I could think of is, man, this is one giant spirit orgy, and I'm not invited. So at that point, I then said to them, because I keep my mouth shut for a little while until I get enough of them around me, and unless nobody else comes around, and then I say something to them. And then I said, "Hey, does anybody here want to cross over?" And then 4 people who were making out, looking like this, went like this. And I said, "Yeah, there's a voice coming from this light. My name's Daniel. I'm here to cross you over. Does anybody want to cross over?" And the guy spoke to me and said, "No." And I said, "No."
Well, of course, because when there's a ghost orgy, you don't want to be interrupted wondering who the guy in the cuck chair in the corner is.
Well, correct. So they're hanging out doing that. And I said, "You don't want to cross over?" He said, "No. Why would we?" I said, "Why wouldn't you?" Because you can go someplace wonderful. He said, "Oh, we're okay here. We got friends. We're okay." He said, and then he said, "Besides, when we're here, there's no rules." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, if I want to come through," and he said it plain in English, "if I want to come through and I want to antagonize somebody, I'm allowed." He said, "If I go home," because he knew what home is, he said, "You don't. No one does." He said, "We still want to have fun. So that's why we're here, some of us." And I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "So if I want to come through," and he said it plain as day, "if I want to come in to your realm and play a trick on somebody, play a prank." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "If I do it, you can't see who's doing it. And you'll never find out." He says, "And I think that's funny. Now, you don't think it's funny because you're scaring the shit out of you. Because they might do something horrible. Why? Because when you are still there, you still have pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish. You still have, here's one thing that the ghost hunters don't know. You still have physical pain there. If another spirit were to walk up to you and smack you in the face or punch you or kick you, you still feel it. And no matter what age you die here, if you stay there, you remain that age forever. But forever's not lasting long, because I know that place is coming to an end, as well as so is this place. But yeah, so they can do whatever they want to. There's nobody possessing a doll. That's just a spirit standing next to that doll doing this. You just can't see who's doing it.
So, I mean, come on Earth, spirits are dicks.
Right.
I mean, it would make sense that, if there's ghosts that are helpful or ghosts that are harmful, there's got to be that one ghost was like, "Hi, I'm Ezekiel. Welcome to Jackass."
Oh, there's more than one, and they're real dicks. Well, they'll push you down the fucking flight of steps and you die. I don't think that's funny, but they do. Mm-hmm. I've seen some beings there Here's the worst. Well, I saw two worst of the worst. But here's the worst. One of the worst I've seen. So again, they still feel pain there. So if you've ever seen a murder mystery, where there's somebody dead laying on the ground, and the cops come up and they put an outline of the person. I saw three beings in front of me who look like outline people. There's no facial features, nothing. It's just an outline of a body. Okay, head, two arms, two legs, feet, but you can't see anything. You see through them. Okay, that outline was white, but then the white would glow from white to yellow to red. When I see red, I know they are a negative energy. They are horrible. Okay. Worse than horrible than you can ever imagine horrible. And then worse than a million murderers put together. Okay. And then I saw squiggly lines inside of their body, also glowing white to red, white to yellow to red. I watched these beings. So like when I'm talking about that horror movie, I watched these beings walking around, walking up to other beings and people and other things, whatever the hell they are, punching and kicking and beating the shit out of them. Okay. And I saw one of them, the biggest one, this guy was like 8 feet tall, walk up to this guy and strangle him. Now he's not breathing, but literally this guy is causing this tension on his neck, and he's feeling it so much where his eyes were kind of like popping out of his head and his tongue's coming out and he's going, ah! So, and this guy's strangling him. Then after they get done beating the shit out of him, they drag him off into what I know is the deep dark realm of the spirit of the earthbound realm. This is not hell, but they are torturing people and torturing other things, but not torturing them for something bad they did here. Now, even though they are there because they just made a bad decision for themselves or they just didn't want to go to heaven, you chose to be there, a lot of them. So they will beat the crap out of them, and then they torture them to collect energy from them. See, and anything there in that low energy realm has to have energy in order to continue to survive there, because if they don't, when they walk around, if they don't have enough energy, it's like when you walk around and you feel nauseous. They feel that way, and they want to feel like they can do whatever they want to do. So, and in order to do whatever they want to do, they have to have more energy. There's not a lot of energy there. I see it. It flows like little rivers and little bands, and they have to walk up to it and they cock their head back. And they go into a dream state, and then they collect this energy, and then they can go on about their way. The negative ones need more than that. Why? Because it takes a lot of energy to be horrible. You know, when you tense yourself up, that's being horrible. And you're like, I'm so pissed off, and you get angry. That takes a lot of energy. So they need more energy, and they need a negative energy. So they get it from these beings. And when they can't get it from them there, they come here. Why? Because we're full of it. I mean, literally full of it. You want to go to a place that's got a bunch of horrible negative energy that you wouldn't think would? Go to church, because everybody there is trying to prove to everybody else that I'm a better Christian than you. And when you think you're better than somebody else, that's negative energy. When you're proving to other people, I'm better than you, and that's negative energy. And they love that. So they come here and get it from us, because we're a walking human buffet of negative garbage. That's why they come here. That's why they think it's funny when they can play a joke on you and you go, oh my God, they're going to kill me. It's a demon. It's a devil. And now you're producing fear, and now they're sucking it off of you. And as long as they can keep doing that to you, they'll keep hanging around you. 9 times out of 10, what you don't hear about haunted houses is the people that live in the house, they don't tell you that story, that they are a piece of shit. Because negative energy draws in negative energy. That's why not everybody has those problems. Because the ones that usually have those problems are pieces of shit. They're drawing it in. But yeah, they're not possessing any dolls or anything like that. They're just moving it because they can. Energy can move energy.
So besides the spirits and the archangels and the different forms of energy and everything, you say you have the ability to see into other dimensions. Is that the way we think it is, where it's like, there's this world where I'm a forklift driver, but in the next world, maybe I'm I'm an architect, or maybe in another world I'm Batman. You know what I mean? Like, is it an infinite possibilities, or is it very specific?
It's very specific in the way that you don't have a doppelganger in another dimension. One soul, one body. You don't have your soul doesn't split in half and go to another place. It is in you.
So same energy, but a completely different look.
No, not same energy. Your soul is you. They're just like you look around the world and you see other people. They are just other souls. You see into another dimension. They are just other souls there. That's all.
So you could look into 100 different dimensions, and there's not going to be another me.
Correct. Yeah, that's all sci-fi bullshit. It's not real. But
what?
I've had like different other dimensional beings come and visit me. I was lying in bed like about a year and a half ago, and I keep my bedroom completely blacked out so I can see everything. For me, it's like when I see this many spirits. For me, it's like being in a room with 1,000 people, except nobody leaves and more just keep coming in. I'm in my dark room. I see thousands of people around me. Okay, but they're not around me. They are just where they are. I'm just there. Okay, and I can see in there. So when the lights are out, I just see that place. Okay, or if I close my eyes. So in other words, would you want to see everything I do when you're trying to go to sleep and have 1,000 million people staring back at you? You don't want what I have. I'm telling you. People think they want this. You don't. And not all mediums have what I have either, because nobody else is the light. But still, they see a lot of things. You don't want to see that. You just have a fascination. Oh, I want to go see a ghost, or I want to go on a ghost walk and see one and stuff like that. So what? It doesn't turn off for me. Do you think that's fun? You think you have any privacy?
Why do you think you were chosen for this?
Because I'm a living, breathing, walking, talking archangel inside of a human body. That's why. Somebody had to do it. God asked all of his children, one of them to stand up and do this. I said, yes. Here I am. This is my last time now. I get to go home and stay home.
How do you even know what to call these things? Since, I mean, every word that comes out of our mouth is made up by man.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know
like when I get touched in my face.
Is this some form of like dogmatic law where like whatever we say on earth?
Yeah, all that bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not. It's absolutely nothing that we think it is. It's absolutely nothing. It's actually much simpler. But again, people make this hard. People complicate things. They want to add the mysticism of it. They want to add the magic and the glory of it. Seeing all this,
everybody wants something to be spiced up at least a little bit,
right? If they would stop trying to spice everything up and get things done that they were supposed to do, they'd be able to see it all, because they'd all go home and stay home and see it. Wouldn't that make much more sense?
See some of what you see if we were able to focus our attention.
Correct. But we can't focus. You know why? Because we walk around. I don't want to make this sound bad, but if you walk around with a T-shirt of a baseball team on all day long, and you're worshiping and watching baseball games and watching football games and watching sports and paying attention to what the government's doing and paying attention to all the bullshit's going on in your life, and you think it fucking means something to you, you're stupid. Because it doesn't. It is a distraction. Because they don't want you to be able to focus. They don't want you to be able to communicate with spirit. They want you to continue to pay into the system so you can keep the system going.
Who doesn't want this?
Who doesn't want it?
Yeah,
God
you said they don't want you.
God doesn't want this. His children, archangels, do not want this.
No, I'm saying like they don't want you to be able to see this. They don't want you to be able to know what I know.
Oh, no, that's people.
They want you distracted like lemmings.
That's people.
Are you just saying other people?
Yeah, society.
But how do they know what they're distracting us from?
Because they're a lot smarter than you think they are. They don't want. Why would they tell you that? Why would they tell you that they know? How do they keep you on?
Is there somebody like you that's out there that's just telling everybody, hey, look over here, because this is what they want you to see?
Because they know from the very beginning we used to be able to actually heal ourselves. We could take care of ourselves. We don't need the entire world to do everything for us. The unfortunate part is we relinquished that power over to them, kings and queens, and now government and big corporation, to take care of us. Let me ask you guys, when have they actually done that? Ever? Do you pay for gasoline? Do you pay for food? Do you pay for TV? Do you pay for your everything in this world? You pay for everything, even though they take care of us. They don't take care of you. They control you. Everyone is a slave to this world. Everyone is. No one's free of it. I don't care if you live out in the off grid somewhere. I love the off grid people who take videos and put them on YouTube while they're really living off grid. If they're on YouTube. Seriously? Come on. No one's off grid. You're in this world. You have to survive in this world. You're going to get something. You're going to wear your clothes. No one's an American Indian anymore. I mean, even they aren't. It's a shame. But look what we're doing out there. We're doing everything that they want you to do. They tell you eat bacon today. They tell you don't eat bacon. They tell you to wear this hat. They tell you to wear that shirt that you have on, and you go out and pay $50 for it. What did you just do? You put it into the system. They tell you to do everything, and you do it all. You know what they need to do? They need to shut the hell up. But what do we need to do? We need to stop listening. That's the true reason why Jesus Christ was here. Jesus Christ was here to let us know that we could all take care of each other, that there's enough of everything in the world to share with each other, not make profit off of, but to share in this world. You could be a doctor and I could be a farmer, and you could heal my wounds, and then I could give you some food, and then we could call it a day. So much sharing that if you wanted to, what's your favorite vehicle that you would like to have, Kip? What is it?
Probably a pickup truck, like a
okay.
Just random pickup truck.
So say you went out and had a pickup truck, but then I could also have a pickup truck. We didn't have to pay for it. You could have one and I could have one. We could both go out and put all the cool doodads on that pickup truck to make our pickup look cool. But if you could do it and I could do it and everyone could do it, then what would that make everyone? What would that make the ability to have that truck the same? We'd all be equal. We could all have everything the same. And at that point, if you realize that you have everything the same as I do and everybody could have the same, then your wants and needs are going to change, because you're not going to be out there trying to prove yourself to someone else that I'm better than you, that I'm worth more than you, because I have a social ability now that puts me up to a higher standard, that I can have things that you can't have. I can have a Lamborghini and you can't have it because you can't afford it. But because I'm a fucking baseball player or basketball player, I'm allowed to afford it because I can run around a fucking court. And you think that makes me more fucking important than you are? Really? Because it doesn't. We're all equal. We all came from the same place. We can all go back to the same place if you choose. But we are all equal. But the world wants you to believe that you're not, so that you will continue to play this game, so that you can not pay attention that you actually could spiritually heal yourself, that you could grow your own food. But they don't want you to do any of that. They is the world, society, corporations, the government, kings and queens, the ones who are in control of everybody. And if you don't think I don't pay attention to what the government, if you're here, you are. You're doing it. But you don't have to completely do it. You can learn to separate yourself from it. You can learn to know that I can go out and take care of a bunch of people. That's what he wanted. That's what Jesus wanted us to do, was to take care of each other and help each other, literally help each other with everything. And once we learn how to do that, once we learn the reason for being here, so that we can go home and stay home, we will all leave all at once. And then the lesson will be over. And then we'll all go to heaven.
Mr. Jackson, I could do this for hours, but I'm gonna ask you two more questions before we end with our PVO questionnaire. What is the Hitman, or the Hat Man? Sorry.
Oh, the Hat Man. He's another dimensional being. He's not coming here in spirit. He comes here to observe us. He comes here to observe, especially children. I've seen him. He was in my basement. When I first found out I was a medium, I was being tested in order to see if I was going to move forward with this or not. And one of the things I was tested with was seeing him. I went down in my basement to get my cat because he was downstairs, and I said to him, "Come on, buddy, it's time to go upstairs." And he looked at me, and he looked to his right, and I looked to my left, and I was like, and then I saw a wall of blackness and a man walk out of that wall of blackness, and he had like a wide rim hat and a long coat, and I could see his nose and his chin, but I couldn't see his face. And then he walked across the floor. Strange thing was to me was he didn't have any feet, but he walked across the floor and went through the wall. He's another being that's coming from another dimension because he wants to observe us for how we do what we do. In other words, they want to observe me and others like me to see why we can connect with spirit, because in his realm they can't. So he's trying to figure out like a smoking gun how to learn how to do it so he can take it back to where he is. You can't. You either have it or you don't. But they keep coming.
So
I've talked to him. I talked to him a bunch of times.
It's a being that's here to observe but not interfere from another dimension.
Correct.
But
He's
it
trying to
can't
get
take that information back with them, or they can't.
Yeah, well, he wants to figure out how we do it. Like anything, you want to see how it's going to work, but you can't get inside this engine. It's nothing that he can learn how to do to take back to his people and say, "Okay, now here's how you do it." You can't. It comes through with your soul.
You can't take it back. What's the point of him being here?
Well, he's being paid to be here by others from that dimension. They want this so badly because they want to be able to talk to spirit. They want to be able to talk to a higher source. I mean, I don't just talk to archangels. I mean, I've been spoken to and seen God 8 times. He's spoken to me 8 times. He touched me 8 times. I mean, you don't want to be touched by an archangel. Regular spirit can walk up and touch you all the time. When archangels were touching me in the very beginning to get me used to them touching me, because like I said, I used to get I get an answer. It feels like a blood dripping across my face. That means yes. When I get no, I feel this. It feels like a tear running down my face. It's blood dripping down my face. It has to do with Jesus and crown of thorns, because they say I wear a crown of thorns. So in the beginning, it was just 2 touches here, one here, one here. And by 2 archangels, Manos and Helen. Now it's 89. I get 89 different touches by 89 different archangels. There's not just 12 or 13 like that's listed in the Bible. There's many, many more. The Bible depiction of anything is bullcrap. But because, like I said, he's a merciful God or is a fearful God? Which one is he? Neither. He's a loving God. So, but yeah, they touch me on my face and then they put information in my mind. They talk to me. I hear a voice coming in, or they just tell me something and it feels as though it's my own thought. But when they were touching me, they would touch me and I'd feel these cold little touches all around my body, all over my body at nighttime when I go to bed. And then I'd wake up and I'd throw up and crap everywhere. And that went on for 3 or 4 hours. And then I would recover from that. And then it would happen again 2 weeks later. Twice a month.
So you can
for 3 years.
So you can hear the archangels in your head, like you can hear them. They counsel you. They talk to you.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct. I can see, hear, feel, and communicate with them. A lot. So when I meet other mediums that say they're talking to archangels and all that stuff, I did an interview with a girl like 2 weeks ago, and she says, "Oh yeah, I communicate with archangels and stuff like that." I said, "Oh really? What do they look like?" "Oh well, see here, I got this painting on my wall. See the wings on it? They don't have wings. Why would they need wings? There's no wind beneath their wings in order for them to fly. They may have had wings in their pre-incarnation, but angels don't have wings. Your grandmother doesn't die and become an archangel, or an angel for that matter. It doesn't work that way. It takes a very, very long time to become an angel. It's a huge commitment. Because even when you leave here, like those other spirits I saw that were making out, you can still have sex. You can do all that stuff. You're still doing it. It's just energy. Why do you think it feels so good here? Why do you have that one person that when you hug them, you don't want to let them go? You get that one guy or that one woman, you give them a hug and you're like, "Oh man, I miss you so much." And you just feel it inside of you. That's an energy transfer. That's what it is. People just don't get it, but it feels good because it is that good. So, but
I
people
usually just don't want to let go because she has big boobs. But that's
oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Yeah, that part. Yeah,
before we do the pivo
got a great
questionnaire,
ass. That's what it is. Yeah.
right? Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been working out.
Boom
But
shakalaka.
before we go, you were able to tell me a little bit about the amount of lives I've had.
Yep.
What can you, if anything, tell us about Kip?
How long was he here last time? How old was he? What? Well, he's been here 27 times.
I win.
Or B, really.
I wouldn't call that winning. That's for sure. Yeah, you had to keep coming back, you piece of shit. You died and you died in
I resemble that remark.
1857. Yeah, you should. You died in 1857. That? Oh. You died of how old was he? 47, and you died of what we would call but they didn't really know too much about it. You had leukemia.
Interesting. That's kind of a wild thing to wrap your head around.
So again, what is so glamorous about that?
Absolutely nothing.
You were just a regular person. You died at 47. You had leukemia. You lived a regular life. Oh, no, you didn't. You were a doctor,
Okay.
but you died.
Doctor's good too.
I just like everybody else, though.
Yeah, you're just like everybody else. But again, when people go towards that past life thing, they think it's going to be something astronomical. There's 7.5 billion of us in this world. How many of them are doctors? How many of them are brain surgeons? How many of them make it to the big leagues on baseball? How many of them do, and how many of them of all the other 6.5 billion don't? But they want to believe that it's going to be something major. It's going to be something of high importance because they think, oh, I must have been something great. And that's their ego coming in. Some people are just people. So the importance of it is, again, you're here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose, and then hopefully get that done. If you don't get it done, you just have to keep coming back and doing it all over again. That's all. We just put too much of a high importance on everything because we want to believe or we want to think it's got to be something great. It's got to be something great. They want to believe that. But sometimes you're just a regular person. That's all. I mean, I did a show like 2 weeks ago with a girl, and she wanted to know about some of her past lives. And one of her past lives, I said, you died. You were 7 years old. You were out with your father in a boat in a lake, and you fell over the boat and you drowned. The only importance she got out of that was, she said, when I said that, she was like, oh my God. And I was like, what? I said, you got an affinity for water or something? She said, yeah, sort of. She says, whenever I'm in water, I don't like to float. I have to make sure that my feet are on the ground because if I start to float, I feel like I'm going to drown. Lesson learned. So if that's going to keep her from drowning another time, then great. That's the importance of it. That was part of the importance of it. So maybe she'll learn that lesson and she won't try to float this time, and she'll stay away from it, and she'll live as far as she's really meant to do. But things happen.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, don't feel bad. I died at 8 years old after drowning.
Well, it happens. But
Mr.
Mr.
Daniels,
Jackson,
before we do I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, before we do the
You
people
didn't
now,
die.
just
You didn't
tell
die. No.
everybody where they can find you.
If you're here now, you didn't die. Nobody does. Dead people don't tell stories.
Tell us real quick where everybody can find you online.
If they want to find me online, they can go on www.spiritmediumdaniel.com, and they can book a reading with me there. They can also go there, and I have a link there for my book that they can find on Amazon called Daniel Jackson: A New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium, and it talks about me, chronological order from seeing spirit all the way up to now to becoming meeting, and all the experiences that I had seeing all the spirit that I did. We also have a Printify page on there because I also have a show called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. Me. So I started. And it's on a spiritual network called New Reality TV, where you can come there and awaken to your new reality. And there's lots of other programs on there as well. It's a spiritual streaming network. But I have a Printify place on there where you can get coffee mugs, and you can get a t-shirt that says, "I'm not an extra large, I'm a medium." Get it? So, yeah, because it's just I'm goofy like that. But I also have another shirt that says, "Be good and don't do any stupid shit," because I don't want anybody to do any stupid shit that's going to get you in trouble. Because I worked in prison for 6 years, and it's easy to go into prison. It's hard to get out. So, yeah, so they can find me there. They can find me on Instagram at spirit.medium.daniel. They can go on Facebook, and I have a Spirit Medium Daniel Facebook group that they can try to join, but I don't make that decision on whether or not they get in or not, because I will look at the name of the person who's trying to join the page, and if one of the archangels says and touches me for no, delete. That's how I do everything in my life. I wake up in the morning and take my medications, and I look at the bottle and I say, should I take this pill today? No. Oh, okay, and I don't. Pick up the next one.
Damn it, I thought I was annoyed by normal moderators.
Yeah, well, this is getting me to be where I need to be so I can be in the best health possible that I can be. I still have to be here in this human body, living this human experience. But in order for me to even show up here, I pay attention. I listen, trust, and follow through with everything they tell me to do so I could be in good enough health to be here. So I listen for everything. Even like when I ride my motorcycle down the street and I see them in front of me, I see these little pedals of light in front of me, and I'll say, I got to take this right-hand turn. No. Well, you don't want me to take this right-hand turn? No. You want me to go down to the next block and make that next right-hand turn? Yes. You know what I do? I go do that. You know what I don't do? I don't sit around all day going, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I went there. What are you doing when you're doing that? Wasting time. They are looking out for your best interest. God is looking out for my best interest so I can be where I need to be. Why would I sit there and contemplate over a bunch of bullshit that I don't even know what's going to happen, but I know for my best interest is going to get me where I need to be. So why not just follow that and stop playing around with all the other bullshit that everybody else wants you to think about? Maybe, no. When you listen, when you trust and follow through with that gut feeling that you get inside of you, that internal compass, your soul, your intuition, but it's your soul guiding you, listen to that first, because all the answers you need are here, not out there.
Okay.
Simple.
Well, Mr. Jackson, we like to finish off our interviews, our discussions with people with the Bernard Pivot questionnaire.
What the hell is that?
It's a bunch of short questions.
It's just like rapid fire or something like that?
Kind of rapid fire. You can elaborate.
Yeah, it's kind of answers. Whatever comes to your brain.
Yeah, but you can elaborate on your answers if you want to, but for the most part, it's one word or small short answer questions.
Well, that'll be a different kind of answer because everything that comes to my brain is coming from spirit, so it's not coming from me.
That'll be interesting to see how this goes then.
Sure.
What is your favorite word?
Love.
What is your least favorite word?
Hate.
What sound or noise do you love?
Motorcycles.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Fighting.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Comedian.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you not like to attempt?
That one I have to think about. That is coming from me. Working on a slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Because all life is precious.
Creatively, what turns you on?
Seeing people doing other things for people that they can absolutely not do for themselves. Helping.
In the same vein, what turns you off?
Everyone else hating on each other for no reason other than they think it's funny or they think it's going to make them better than someone else. It doesn't.
We
Why
we
would you?
talked about this question a little earlier already, but what is your favorite curse word?
Motherfucker.
Okay.
But I say it in a
And
comical way. I don't say it to be a negative way for anybody. I just say it in that motherfucker. Look at that. Look at him doing that stupid shit.
now I understand how that you have your own personal beliefs, but the wording of this question is just the way it was written.
Sure.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates, so to speak?
Welcome home.